Guys, I was asked, what did I mean when I said that I told God that I wanted to live my life out loud. So I'm gonna go ahead and address that because normally when I'm on my talks, I hurry up and I'll get off or whatever. But people keep asking me certain questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna address this question that was asked of me. So when I told God that I wanted to live my life out loud and I wanted to be a living testimony or whatever, I was just telling God that I wanted, people to see how real He was through my life. Um, I didn't want to be one of those people who just was judgmental about everything else that somebody else was doing. Um, I didn't just um, wake up one day and just decide, oh, I'm just going to change my life around. That's not what happened to me. I had an encounter with God after. Well, I'm trying to see how far can I go back to tell to tell y'all in the short amount of time that I have. So, I one day I just woke up and I was tired. I was tired. I was tired of being who I was. Nothing worked for me. I had got to a place in my life where it almost felt like everything was just going wrong. Like I lost everything twice back to back. Um, the first time I lost it, it was just a stupid decision that I made. And I got it all back after that. Then the second time that I lost it, I just couldn't understand why. But then I realized once I lost everything that second time, it was because God was trying to do something totally different in my life, totally different than what I expected. I hadn't even thought of it. I'm just gonna be honest. Like I thought my life was fine. Like I was good or whatever in my eyes. I was thinking like everything's good, whatever. Um, but I got to a place in my life where I just got tired of being me. And I remember somebody asking me once before, if it was one thing that God can do for you, what would you want Him to do for you? And I kept telling them, I said, the only thing I want God to do is to deliver me from me. And I got to that place because I got tired of failing. It was like 2 years straight, y'all. It was failure after failure. It's like I would be good, and then all of a sudden something happened. So I was like, well, clearly it got to be me. Something is wrong with me for me to keep going through the same thing over and over again. And I'll share with you guys how like I used to drink myself to sleep or whatever, and how God delivered me from that. But it got that bad to the place that to the point where I started just drinking myself to sleep. I'm not ashamed to say that. Because I woke up one day and God just took the taste out of my mouth. Like I woke up one day just I was just drinking. Like I would drink a bottle of wine every night before I go to bed. I mean like a full bottle by my little self. But it was because I was trying to make sure that I didn't go slip into certain things that I was slipping into. That I was getting tired of, like the same repeated cycles over and over again. And God saved me. I started having encounters after encounter with God unknowingly. I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't know. It was like little things would happen to me. I thought that I was just crying just to be crying. Like certain things would just happen to me just to be happening to me. Like I would just feel certain things just to feel it, not knowing that it was the Holy Ghost the whole time or whatever. So I'll explain it to you guys on another time. But when I got to that place where I was telling God to deliver me from me or whatever, I got to that place because I started having encounters with Him that were just unexplainable. It was almost like I was face to face with Him. I would feel His presence so strong. Like, when I tell y'all it's unexplainable, like I can't explain it. I don't know a way to explain it. But it was so, y'all, it was so like sweet. It was such a sweet presence. It was to the point where I didn't want to be nowhere else. I didn't want to talk to nobody else. I would literally just want to sit and soak in His presence all day, every day. Y'all, it was so strong one time that I had to ask God, like, how can I be a parent if I really just want to be here with you? Like, I didn't, it was that bad. Like, I was just like, I don't even want to go home to my kids. Like, I would leave the house just to go have an encounter with God. I would leave the house to just, and I would go to let me tell you, I would go to an empty house and I would worship all the time, and I would just keep worshiping him, and I would sit and I would wait on him, and I would wait, and I fell in love with just doing that, and I kept having encounters with him over and over again, and it was so sweet that I had to tell God that I literally did not want nobody but him. I didn't want nobody but him. I didn't want to be around nobody but him. I mean, like, if I can be in his presence all day, let me tell y'all, I was there. When I didn't have the kids, I would sit in that empty house and just worship all day, every day. And I would call on him and I would cry out to him and I asked him to, like, deliver me from my bloodline. Y'all, but when I was having these encounters with him, my life was just turning. Nothing mattered to me. Like, nothing. When I say nothing mattered to me, nothing mattered to me. I didn't even want to eat. Like, it's like it was just to that point where I was just so into God. Like, it was different. It was different. And when I just got a taste of him and I got to experience him and I got to just see how, like, wonderful he was and how he was always on time, and, like, y'all, I could have nothing. When I say I wouldn't have a dollar to my name, like, nothing at all, and something would come up, and I kid y'all not, I can have to be somewhere at 12. I could be booked for something at 12 o'clock or whatever, or have to be out of town and like, at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, whatever the case may be. When I tell y'all, like, God would provide for me early that morning. And it was like he was giving me just enough to, like, just teaching me how to trust him or whatever. So when I saw how good God was and I started having all those encounters with him and I started experiencing his faithfulness and his favor, and how people would just walk up to me and give me money, or how people would just walk up to me and just be like, I just want to bless you with this, or is it okay if I do this for you? I knew it was nobody but God because I had nothing. And he was teaching me how to just stick my neck out there and trust him by faith. And I did just that. So when I say that I told God that I wanted to live my life out loud, I told him that because I was just like, people got to know, like, he real. Like, it's not just something to talk about. It wasn't, he's not just somebody to talk about. Just like everybody else, I would just go to church every Sunday. Y'all, I would sit in church. After coming from the club at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be honest, I would leave the club at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I would be in church at 11 o'clock service. Y'all, I would be just going and going and going to church. Ain't had no power, ain't had no kind of encounter with God, but I kept hearing about God, but I had never experienced him. And when I got to experience him and see how real he was, like, for real, and it's just not something that somebody that my grandmother talked about or whatever, I just kept saying, God, people gotta know how real you are. So I was willing to make that sacrifice. I was willing to make that change. I was willing to be that vulnerable and just be like, you know what, whatever, this is me. Like, God did this. You know what I mean? Like, God blessed me with this. I can't tell nobody, oh, so-and-so did this for me or so-and-so did that. No, like, literally everything I have, everything that I'm blessed with, every door that has opened for me, it has been nobody but God, because I went out on faith, y'all, not looking for nothing. When I say I wasn't looking for nothing, only thing I was trying to make sure is that I had a ear to hear God. Like that's all I wanted. I was like, God, just make sure I never miss your voice. I never stop hearing you. So when I got to that place or whatever, I was like, you know what? People need to see my life. Like they need to see how real you are. Like I'm, like I'll be the one. It's what I would tell God. Like I'll be that person who's willing to show other people like you're real. And I don't have to force him on them. You know what I mean? It's just like I wanted my life to be so different, y'all, and just so open that it was just like people will come to me and be like, tell me what it is you do. How do you get that? And I, still till this day, like I'm not where I want to be at. Like I'm literally stepping out on faith, doing things over and over again. So when I tell people, I told God that I wanted to live my life out loud. That's what I meant. Like I want people to see him through my life. Like I'm okay with that. A lot of times we just want to show people our, how we have succeeded and not telling people like our downfalls and how, the things that we went through to get through here. Like I ain't just wake up one day and I'm like this. Like, no, I've always have had a good heart or whatever. But a lot of things that I battled with, a lot of times we battle with things from our mother's bloodline, our father's bloodline, like generational curses. And I knew, I started, like my eyes started opening. It's like, God, the second time, I said the first time I lost everything, but that was my fault. The second time God took everything away from me, but it was for my good. You know what I mean? Because if he had not done that, I wouldn't have never experienced, the things that I have experienced, like to this day. I would have never had those encounters. I would have never got on my face and cried out to God and like literally sat and waited till he heard my cry. Like I would have never done none of those things or whatever. So when I got to experience him and I got to taste him and I just got to be like, God, I just want nobody but you. Like I enjoy being a parent. I enjoy like my kids. I like being around them. Anybody that know us, they know, especially me and my girls, because we're so close now or whatever. People, I just enjoy being a mother. I think it's one of the sweetest things, like, one of the best gifts in life. I can tell y'all that. I love it that much. But when I got to experience God or whatever, and I got to have those encounters with God, and I got to just see how sweet and just how I can't even find the words to say, but it was so like different, y'all. I was like, people gotta know, like, like they have to know. So when I come on and I do my lives and I do my talks and stuff like that, it's not to like push religion on you. It's not to like try to, persuade you or anything like to religion or nothing like that. It's just the simple fact that I'm just saying, like, y'all, God is so real. Let me tell you how real he is. Like, take a look into my life and let me be able to show you or whatever just how real he is. And so that's it. I was asked what did I mean by that, so that's basically what it was. When I say I want to live my life out loud and I want to be a living testimony, it's just I want people to see God through my life. And I'm not afraid to say that it was nobody but God who has done it. I'm not afraid to say that I've struggled to get to where I'm at. Or I'm not afraid to say like I'm still, I'm saying, like going through things to get to the place where God wants me to be. But it took for me to remove myself out of his way, like to my pride. I'm just going to be honest. It's horrible. Just all of that. I was willing to like literally trust him with everything and just take my life and give it to him, give it back to him. Like daily I have to tell myself, Lord, I remove myself out of your way or whatever. So that's all I meant. But I love y'all. I'm going to come back on next Monday night at 9 p.m. Y'all have a good one.